Okay. Instagram. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to Bata Box. We are live on Facebook and also on YouTube, but I'm trying to get us live on Instagram. So give me 1 second while we pull up Instagram. Choose page settings. It's broken. So we just need to fix Instagram and then we'll get started. If you can hear me, just say hello in the chat there. So just waiting for Instagram, which I'm not sure we'll be able to do today. Well, at least you can see me on Facebook and on YouTube. Display. Never. Okay. Once again, welcome. Okay. Let me see. We should be live on YouTube. Instagram, we may have a problem because there's a limit on Instagram with this platform I'm using. Click create live video. So I'm trying to fix Instagram now. Let's go to Instagram settings. Please bear with me. Settings. Okay. Let's see. Instagram account. Okay. So we need to story and live. See how we can go live on Instagram. Okay, we'll just continue that later another time. But for today, we'll just okay. If you can see me, can you see me on Facebook as well? I'm getting feedback that we are live on YouTube. But can you check Facebook? Let me check YouTube. Yeah, can you check Facebook? Sorry, this is one of our our second live. Oh, okay. This is our second live. Okay, thank you guys for being here. My name is Mike. I'm so excited to have you. Today I titled our I'm not live on Instagram, but we'll fix that later. Yeah, thank you so much. Maxon Brown TV. I look like the young Maxon Brown TV. You look like twins. Okay. I know who that is. Marcos Paulo from Brazil. Hello. Thank you for being here. CA, thank you for being here too. Yeah, we have about 11 people now streaming. So I just wanted to connect with everybody because we have a lot of followers from Batterbox. So I want to just connect everybody, bring you guys up to speed. A lot of people will see this after it's streamed. There are about 11 people watching now, but I think there'll be more views later. So let's just get right into it. Today I want to talk about the Nigerian experience and administrative convenience. I called it an administrative convenience because it was something that was convenient for the British when the British, hello, Rebs Mat and Services. Hi, thank you for being here. Hello from Lagos. Yeah, hi. So Nigeria is an administrative convenience. What that means is that when the British came together, I had a video that I released today talking about the colonial masters and how they colonized us. And it was the Berlin conference. They had a meeting in Belgium, And because we're in slavery 2.0, we had slavery 1.0, which was the brutal slavery, which a lot of us Nigerians, Africans, we participated in. And then we eventually sold our brothers or the bad people of our society. We got rid of them and we sold a lot of them. We sold our people to them, really. So that's slavery 1.0. But towards the end of the 19th century, slavery was kind of, and it was seen as brutal and gruesome. There was a convention whereby they abolished slavery. I think it was in the early 20th century. But a lot of countries still ignored that, like the USA. The USA didn't even care. They just continued their slavery. But for the most part of the world, slavery was ignored. And you guys, if you want to talk about something else, let me know. But this is just our first live. I plan on doing this every Monday at 8 p.m. Nigerian time or West African time. So we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about, anything at all. But for today, we're going to talk about the administrative convenience Nigeria. And the administrative convenience Nigeria is just saying that when the British came together in 1914, they put everybody. So they basically designed this region. You know, there's the Niger area, and the British from the map in Belgium, they've already discussed that, okay, this part is going to be called Nigeria. They had a map of Nigeria already in their mind. So what happened was they got there and they just basically took over everything. And the people there, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Igbos, the Calabar, the FA, just the whole people, they were forced to be together, even though it wasn't something that they all agreed to, and it was done with force. I put emphasis on the word force. Force meaning that it was against the will of the people. So it's an administrative convenience because it was convenient, Lord Lugard and them, to just bring everybody together. And then they have the emirs and the obas, and they have a lot of that, whereby people were put together just for administrative convenience. So fast forward 1954, they drafted the first constitution. The British were about to leave. 1960 was when we had the first republic, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we had that Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1960, but then something happened in January 1966, which basically, I think, in my opinion, signified the end of the Nigerian as the British had hoped for it to be. In 1966 of January, there was the first coup, and then there was a counter coup in 1966 of July. So the 1966 counter coup of July is what ended, in my opinion, again, Nigeria. Again, these are all my opinions. So again, this is basically for entertainment, education, nothing to be taken too serious here. I want to put that disclaimer out there based on my own research. So if you want to do more research, you can find your own information. So that disclaimer is out there. But July of 1966, we had the counter coup. Then obviously in January of 1967, there was a civil war. Now, my own proposal or my own opinion is that from January of 1967 up until today, the Nigeria we have is not really the Nigeria that really was dreamt of. It was not the Nigeria that was hoped for. It was not the Nigeria that was envisioned by our forefathers, by the founding fathers of the country. And by that, I mean the three of them, Ahmadu Bello, Zik, and Awo. So you see those people, they had an idea, a vision for Nigeria, which that vision has not even been actualized. I'm not going to go through all the whole history. There was different coup and different presidents. There was a lot of changes. So today, here we are, there's fuel scarcity, which is very, very important, because without fuel scarcity, with fuel scarcity rather, what you are going to notice is that people cannot do a lot of things. Recently, the planes got seized by the Chinese government. They went through a French court. I'm sure you guys have seen that. Then also you have the president, who in my opinion is a king. I have another video that I did about that, whereby President Tinubu, at the rate is going, will be the most traveled president. Will be the most traveled president. So you have this system whereby it's supposed to be a democracy, but it's not really a democracy. What you have instead is people who are like, they are more like a king. The video I did earlier today, it's on the channel, was talking about the colonial democracy. So you have a king who is like, basically there's so much impunity. He does whatever he wants. Nobody can talk to him. He owns the Justice Department in his pocket. The whole justice, I think he just gave them a pay raise recently. So the whole the old Justice Department is all taken over by this guy. So then you have your governors and your people that are in office. Your governors, a lot of the governors, think of them like emirs or more like obas or more like the obis of those days. So if you look at the colonial Nigeria, compare that to what we have today that we call democracy, and you're going to find out that it's very, very similar because these guys rule with impunity. They don't care about the masses. They have no concern about the masses. The masses don't exist. They don't even serve us. Nowhere else in the world is that called a democracy, where you have people who are not servicing us. They don't serve us at all. And if they don't serve us, we the people, at one point, we have to realize and say, this people, they are not doing our own interests. They are not serving our own interests. People have no access to credit, for example. So let's say if you have a business, and the business you have, maybe you are selling computers, for example, but sometimes you need to get credits. You have to go to the bank and say, okay, here's the bank. The job of the bank, small and medium enterprises, the job of the bank is to be able to give people businesses and give them loans. That's one of the major reasons why the bank exists. Because the people that have money, they put the money inside the bank. Then the bank will take the money that people put inside. The bank will take that money and then they'll borrow it out. So the bank should be borrowing the citizens of Nigeria money who have a business idea that have been tested and tried. But unfortunately, the banks don't borrow. The banks, oh, thank you. See, I told you. Yeah, thank you. So the banks do not borrow people money, which again, I've lived in other countries before, I'm Nigerian, obviously, but they have a department for loan whereby you can go and collect loan and borrow money from banks. If you want to borrow money from a bank now, they will ask you, who do you know? And then even if you manage to jump all the Jangrova they put for you, if you jump everything finish, they're going to tell you that they'll give you 40% interest rates. So the citizens of Nigeria don't have access to credit. Interest rates are very, very high. And then the poverty is high. So in a perfect world, if I have a C of O, okay, let's say I have a house in Idumota, or I have a house in Ojuelegba. In a perfect world, I should be able to take that C of O and go to the bank, because that C of O is given to me by Lagos State. And so, Mr. Branch Manager, this is the C of O that Lagos State government gave me. It does not matter what my name is. It does not matter what my tribe is. It does not matter my ethnicity. Again, if you guys have seen, there's a lot of the Igbo must go and all this nonsense that is going on around. So in that kind of place, you don't really have somewhere that you can say there's a democracy or somewhere that is a country per se. What you have is just the ruling class, ruling people, and the ruling class ruling many, many people. And people cannot talk. People cannot complain because poverty is used as a weapon. So that's what we call weaponized poverty. Weaponized poverty means that people are intentionally kept in poverty. They don't want people to be able to get above that poverty line, because if you get above that poverty line and you have a financial status, you can be able to you can be able to if you have financial status, you can be able to challenge the power, the powers that be, because you have the financial stability. So poverty is weaponized. Everywhere else in the world, data, that's internet, is cheap and accessible. What you have now is you have a South African company, MTN, for example, not Nigerian, and many other companies like that are controlling data. So data is very expensive, and ordinary Nigerian cannot afford data. Religion is used again to weaponize us, and many of us, we are very, very religious, especially if you look at an average Nigerian man or woman, they spend more time in church. Now look at the recent 10-day end governance protest. I don't remember seeing one pastor, like one single pastor, coming out and saying something about it. So my question is, why is it that the pastors, when it's time for elections, these same pastors are going to be praying, and there's a lot of you see a lot of videos where pastors are laying their hands. They will lay their hands on this man of God. In fact, there was one I saw in Abuja where the ministers, whatever, they gathered and were blessing Bola Ahmed Tinubu. they were saying Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the anointed man of God, is the man of God that is destined. I don't think, maybe I'll make a video on that. It was so funny. So you have the whole pastors, they all gathered and they are praying for Tinubu. Now that Tinubu is a total failure, where are those pastors today? Instead of having million man march, million man, and the Nigerians, we cannot even think. We cannot open our eyes and say, oh yeah, like waiting to happen. Why is it that our pastors cannot speak up? When it's time for election, pastors will come out. Some of them might I say they are bribed, and I'm sorry to say this because I myself am a Christian, but there are some pastors that are bought by politicians. So a lot of those pastors, they don't come out and they don't come out to talk. Most of those pastors, they are quiet and they didn't have church because there's protest. So they themselves, they're affected. So I don't know how people are still continuing to go to those churches other than the fact that religion has been used as a weapon to enslave the masses. Again, talking about slavery, religion is a very, very big one. And recently, a very dark man, there was this pastor that was selling water for 5,000. So how can you be, God, I know if you laugh, how can you be selling water, ordinary water to people, like bottled water, and people are buying? He said is what is that river that Moses crossed? Red Sea water. So people have been impoverished, and religion is one of those things that are used to enslave us. Religion is very, very deep. Religion is very, very deep. Tribalism is also very, very deep. If you look at the last election, there are people like Peter Obi who are qualified and who should be in power now. But some sectors, who, by the way, they are suffering today. A lot of those Yorubas that are like, oh, Tinubu is our man, or our man must be there. Today, they are paying the price because forced scarcity affects everybody. Now we're line day, there's a long line. Forced scarcity affects all of us. There's nobody that is not suffering from forced scarcity. Inflation, the cost of food. Food is very, very expensive now. Like a tuber of yam, you are paying 800 naira, 1,000 naira. It affects Yoruba man, affects Hausa man, affects Igbo man, affects everybody. So tribalism is also used as a weapon. So this is something that the ruling class has taken over, and they're using that to weaponize us. And even all these protests, most of the protests, politicians will hire people to go and do counter protests. As you have seen in the most recent End Bad Government's 10-day protest, politicians were paying people, at one point 5,000 naira. A lot of that will put on the channel. They're paying people 5,000 naira to go and to go and stage counter protests. There was one in Port Harcourt a few days ago, and these fools were there lining up, and they had a banner of Tinubu. They're like, "Oh, Tinubu is our man," and the guy has not done anything. He doesn't care about you guys. You think you have a democracy? You don't have a democracy. And also, other places, democracy is pursuit of liberty, life, and pursuit of happiness. Liberty means freedom. Freedom to be able to move about. Now there was a law enacted that nurses cannot leave the country. And recently they passed a law that doctors cannot leave. So imagine you go to medical school. Okay, after you do JAMB, you do NECO, whatever, you now go to medical school, and then you do residency, then you do housemanship, residency, housemanship. All of a sudden, the government now come, and the government now tell you, no, you cannot you cannot leave the country. So you are there, you've studied, you've suffered, you've gone through LASU or a general hospital, wherever, doing clinicals and everything, and then they're telling you, guy, you cannot you can't leave the country. The life of each citizen has to be valued. The government that does not value the life of its citizens. The other day, the Shiites, I think they massacred about 430 or 450. These government people coming and giving us that number. Look at NSAS, how they just kill the citizens anyhow. And the life, what is the life of a citizen? The life of a citizen should be treasured. If you look at America, they did an exchange recently with Russia. These are just people that are journalists that Russia held. But every life, they go after them. I cannot tell you how many thousands of Nigerians are in China today. Like thousands of Nigeria are in China. They are stranded. There's nobody looking for them. There's no government, nowhere. They are going to waste there. So imagine somebody having one life, and you go to China and the Chinese government arrests you. When the Chinese government arrests you, the Chinese government now took you and they keep you, and there's no hearing, no courts, you die in China. There's nobody that the Nigerian government, again, every citizen's life should be valued. If we are a democracy, there's no government that, official making any effort. Instead, they are selling our futures away to that same Chinese. So how can you tell me that your government cares about you if the ruling class are there looting the money from the Chinese governments that the Chinese government is giving? They are looting, spending all of that money. Whereas there are thousands of Nigerians in China that there's no hearing. And funny enough, these Chinese governments, when they give us contract, when we give them contract, they come and they bring their people to do it. So really, I think Obasanjo recently said that we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder, which, I mean, as corrupt as you might think Obasanjo is, I'm sure some people are like, Obasanjo is corrupt. Obasanjo is this, Obasanjo is that. As corrupt as he is, he's sometimes, as he's getting older, he's nearing the end of his life. So he's trying to build a legacy. Baba is trying to say the truth here, even though he can think it's corrupt. And what he's saying is very true. At one point, there will be a turning point. Nigeria today has about 15 million youths that are unemployed, uneducated, cannot afford schooling. They are dropouts. So again, a house full of glass, you don't throw stones. So you have these people that are building glass house. I said earlier in one of the videos about a friend of mine who was living in Mushi, and then they moved to Ikeja, GRA, because he wants to be close to cantonment, the military cantonment in Ikeja. And the point is, in Mushi, guys used to, those guys used to share with the there. So the guys always afraid. So he moved to a GRA in Ikeja GRA next to cantonment, because the idea was whenever something happens, at least the military barracks is nearby. But when the time comes, there'll be so many Nigerians that, will not have food to eat. And then these are elected leaders who, again, there are several ID camps right now. There's nothing they are doing. Look at the Lekki Tollgate massacre. So there's just so many things that we can talk about that, again, we take a lot of time. And the question is, how do we move forward? How do we make sure that things are better? It's difficult to find that moving forward because you have INEC, Yakubu, whatever his name is, that helped Tinubu to rig. The guy is still in office. If there was so much complaint about INEC, why wouldn't somebody who is reasonable go into INEC and make a change or make a tweak? That's like the basic thing you can actually try and you can try and answer. So I think there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to cover. This is going to be every Monday at 8 p.m. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions, you can leave that down below. We'll just be going over the topics and what's trending, what's happening. Recently is the fuel shortage that is going on as of today, which again, fuel subsidy removal. The whole promise of fuel subsidy removal is so that we will not have fuel shortage. So if something stop to add, you have to start to minus. If you stop adding, you have to start subtracting. So nothing makes sense. I was watching something about Japa, if you can Japa. So why won't people Japa if they can? Because what we have there is not really a country and it's not a democracy. And you have people who are not even paying attention, who don't care. They have so much impunity. They do whatever they want. And at some point, we, the people, will have to wake up and not allow them to weaponize us with religion and not allow them to weaponize us with poverty and just start using our God-given brains to think and say, these people are not in for us. Imagine, for example, the issue of private jets. Tinubu has his own private jets. Like, he has enough private jets already. Like, why do you need an extra private jet? Why do you have 700 million, to get a private jet? Right? Why? What is the whole point? You already have a private jet. So again, it's just people don't care. Like, these are ruling people, ruling class. They don't care about us. They don't care what we have to say. We don't even exist. And we didn't even elect them anyway. So, I mean, I hate to say this, but I think even the recent protests, people came out, he said nothing about it. Lian Nivu, what one thing would you like to do? I guess is what she was saying. What's one change would you like to make it to Nigeria? Okay. What one change would you like to make to Nigeria? Yeah, so we leave the questions, I can try and answer them. Yeah, thank you. What one change would you like to make to Nigeria? So we have a Battle Boss podcast, is the audio podcast. There's a series called I Can Fix Nigeria by Myself. So we try to try and fix Nigeria by ourselves. Again, I'm not a politician. I'm not never going to be. I'm not interested in politics. But what one change would I like to make to Nigeria? If I could, the biggest change I would like to tell Nigeria is that we can determine our future. We, the Nigerian collective, can determine our future, and the power is with us. The power is with us because the soldiers, they are not enough. There's another video I did about Nigerian soldiers and how they are not many. I think they're about 550 or so in total. Remember, Nigeria is a federal police state, so they just have the Nigerian police force. Unless the army steps in, but again, the army is not even enough. So we, the people, we are the ones that have power. So if there's one thing I would like to do is to tell Nigerians that thank you, Leanne. Yeah, one thing I'd like to do is to tell Nigerians that you are the one. The power is within you. The power is within you. But the problem we have now in Nigeria is that the problem we have in Nigeria right now is that I talked about ethnical weapons. There are different weapons these guys have used. One of them is religion. Religion is very strong. So your pastor wants to come out now. There are some people that will tell you can't come out because of XYZ, or there's Christian of Nigeria. They can ban it. There are so many things in place that the politicians have put to make sure that religion continues to be a weapon, number one. Number two is the ethnicity is another weapon. I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm Hausa. Igbo must go, another big one. So if we can set that aside, we are the ones that can change Nigeria. I'd like to tell people that we have the power to change Nigeria. We have the power to make Nigeria better. And the golden rule: love your neighbor as yourself. No matter what tribe you are from or what ethnicity, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what tribe or ethnicity you are from. What matters is that we are one Nigeria. We're in this situation, which the British, I called it the Nigerian Experience, an administrative convenience. It's just the British convenience, which I believe ended in 1966 after the counter coup. The rest was just basically we've been going in cycles. Even now, we're still going in cycles. They are talking about a referendum, national referendum. Jonathan tried to do that. Then, Buhari came, he swept that away. So what is convenient for the ruling class is right now, today, I'm in power and I need to milk Nigeria as much as I can. I need to suck as much as I can. And a lot of the experience I bring come from, living in other countries and being in other parts of Africa. So I've seen how things are done. Even Ghana, like Ghana has electricity more than Nigeria. How can Nigeria not have power? We have Ajaokuta. We have so many dams and stuff. And power is not hard. We have oil. I didn't even talk about oil. We have a lot of oil. We are under oil. So, and oil is what used to power these turbines, and then we can build the grid. A lot of the grid that we have that's collapsing every 3 months now is the one the British left in the 60s. A lot of the British is left is the British. So I have a question from Small Man. I'm not Nigerian, but even an answer is not always plural. What do you think will help with that image? I'm not Nigerian. So thank you, Small Man. Wow. What do I think will help with the Nigerian image? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. We have our staff on to help in moderate. Thank you so much. What do you think will help? Damn, that's a difficult question you're asking me. I don't think I'm a half full cup kind of guy. I'm not a half empty cup kind of guy. And I don't think there's not much a lot of Nigerians can do today. The Ogun State governor, as you guys heard, he did a contract with this Chinese firm, and then he just did it anyhow. Then today, Patu told me, another guy came on Channel TV and was saying, he's a senator, I believe. He was saying that the Ogun State governor, not one state in Nigeria, southwestern Nigeria, basically they had a contract with the Chinese firm. Again, Nigeria is bringing a lot of Chinese firms because China is taking over, and they are basically borrowing a lot of money. There's a video, Jude Bella, if you guys are a big YouTuber, he did a video like today, actually, talking about China, and it's a 35 minute long. If you watch it, it kind of documents the dangers of taking money from China. So again, the Ogun State government took money from China. China seized 3 of their planes. I think they've released 1 of them. Long story short, our leadership is ruining Nigeria. So I am sorry, Small Mans. I don't think I have an answer because the leadership is everything. Like, leadership is everything. As a Nigerian abroad, you just have to do whatever you are doing. as the best as you can. Be good, be kind to people, be ethical, be honest. But for the global perspective of Nigeria, I don't think we can change it except our leadership is changed. So we definitely need to change leadership. If we can have a changed leader, a less corrupt leader, not a leader that is been tried and who's known as a fraudster. So a lot of international community don't even pay attention to us because of our leadership. So what will help the image of Nigeria is let us vote credible leaders who can stick by their word, who can maintain what they say, and credible leaders that can be held accountable despite the administration change, and who can honor contracts. So, guys, this is meant to be 30 minutes. I think I'm a little over. Thank you guys for joining our debut, the Nigerian Experience and Administrative Convenience. If you have any questions, you can leave it. For those of you that are watching later, you can also leave the comments about anything Nigeria or Batterbox. I'll be happy to answer that. They'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. West African time. Thank you so much for joining. Again, my name is Mike. I'm with Batterbox. We have a lot of videos on there and on our channel. Some of them don't get a lot of views because they are too a little bit technical and detailed. I try to go into too much details. But we are just trying to address the Nigerian experience. How can we make Nigeria better for those in Nigeria and for those outside Nigeria? And how can the small man, how can the ordinary man who, the video I did today is the post-colonial master one, part 1 of 2 is 2 parts. And I talked about how our leaders, when they are passing by, let's say I'm going from point A to point B, they take about 20 security cars and vehicles, and then they are killing people, these are Nigerians who were elected. It does not even make sense. That's what vexed me past. How would you elect a councillor and a councillor's entourage or a councillor, he can't go alone because the councillor now is a councillor or a governor. He has to take 20 entourage, 20. They were paying for all of them. That's also serve us, So in Yoruba, Olopa, Okpa is kind of the crown. It's the person that's also hold the royal crown. So Olopa is the police, also protect the crown and the kingdom. But you have the police killing people while transporting, for example, a governor from one point to point B. And nobody cares. The guy just goes as if this is the Banana Republic. Another one is Dangote, the billionaire who is complaining that he doesn't have his refinery, blah, 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 blah. That Dangote, his truck almost every month again, or every other month, it's contractors. Those trucks, they move around. A lot of them, they kill people. And when they come out, they're like, oh, he's not related to us. But these are Nigerians. These are people that are helpless. These are people that are defenseless. What is our government? What is our democracy doing? So it's a very serious matter. And it's something that we all should be paying attention. We all should be speaking up. And I hope that we can use this platform to educate people, to inform people, and to let them know that they have the power. Back to the question from Leanne earlier, we people, we have the power to change things. We have the power to make things better. And the day we can wake up, whenever that is, to realize that we are more than the police. To realize that, and I can go on and on. I know we're running out of time. This is the last time I'll say I'll wrap up because it's supposed to be 30 minutes. Look at NSAS. NSAS happened. A few celebs came out, and then police massacred a lot of us. These are police and army under the watch of Sanwo-Olu, who later came out 2 years later to admit that they were wrong. This same Sanwo-Olu is the one who is now re-elected. So it's just barbaric, the whole system. It doesn't even make sense at all. So now, 10 days protest, all the our celebs, they sat out. A lot of them did not come out, they didn't speak. Those are people that have casting to do, they didn't do the casting. Those are people that have shows, they didn't do it. Those are people that have photo shoots, they didn't do it. But because we don't know the power that we have, we Nigerians don't know the power that we have, and we are the people. We are the people. We are the people. And if we don't realize how much power we have, then Nigeria will continue to be the way it is. And they will wake up and say, we have the power. INEC should be working for us. INEC should not be rigging for a few people. So very, 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 very sad. But next Monday, we're going to be back, same time, and we'll talk about this again. We'll be streaming on Instagram. We've not worked that out yet, but there's the Batterbox Instagram handle. To get that sorted so we can stream live on Instagram. So anyone, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you can catch this live. and Twitter. I believe we're going to work on Twitter too. Please like this video if you find any value. Help us like it. By liking it, more people know about it and they'll hear about this, the Nigerian experience. Please help us like it. Thank you, Leanne. And thank you, C Toju. Carry on marking. So that's all I have. Thank you so much, guys. Please share this. And I'll see you guys next Monday at 8 p.m. where we can answer your questions live. Thank you, guys, and keep watching Batterbox. Again, this is for educational information and some of it entertainment purposes. Do not take any of this with legal or serious. Thank you so much, guys, and keep watching Batterbox. Bye now.